Like, you don't need to prove anything to anybody, because for one, people don't owe you anything. And two, the person that wants to be with you will be with you. They will make an effort, and they will do the things that you need and that you deserve. And if that person isn't doing it for you, then you need to go and find somebody that is. Hey babies, so I currently look crazy right now because I am straightening my hair in my bathroom, sitting on a chair, because that is how lazy I am right now. It is like 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm just trying to get this done because I have a lot to do today. But I wanted to talk to you about a few things I learned in 2018, at least while I was straightening my hair. This year has honestly been a year of growth for me. I have seen so much change in this year, and it has been for the better. Previous years, I have just been not in the right headspace, and I've just been in a negative mindset for a lot of these years. Whether it had to do with people, whether it had to do with myself, it just hasn't been the best years for me. And you know how we always get to the next year and we're like, this is gonna be the year. And I kept saying that, and it never was the year for me. But last year I was like, you know what, like this has to be the year for me. Like, I need to see a change in my life. And I'm so thankful because I did. And I just want to give you guys some of the lessons that I learned this year that really helped me grow into the person that I am today. So let's just get into it. So one of the first lessons that I learned is realizing my self-worth. That is just so important for everybody. And I feel like that is the first step to wanting to see a change in your life, is because you really have to dig deep and find out who you are as a person before you can learn to enjoy your life and learn to do things that you want to do. For me, realizing my self-worth took place this summer when I was going through my massive breakout. If you have watched my previous video where I talked about my breakout and why I quit social media, I was just feeling completely ugly. Like, that's just the best way to put it. I was not feeling like myself. I did not feel pretty. I was constantly comparing myself to everyone around me, especially on social media. It was becoming very toxic for me because I was constantly on there scrolling, and I was like, I wish I had this. I wish I had longer hair. I wish I had whiter teeth. And I was getting to a point where I was like, I am not about to do this anymore. I am not about to sit here and keep comparing myself to other people. That is not okay. I feel like if there's something that you want to change in your life, that you should change it. You can either change it, you can accept it, or you can just keep complaining about it. And I wasn't going to keep complaining about it. So I was like, when it came to my body and I wanted to have a slimmer waist or thigh gaps or didn't like my hip dips, then I needed to work out and get those things fixed. And that's what I started doing, and I was like, you know what, like, I want to work out, and working out is actually very fun now, so I like doing that. And when it came to like my hair, I honestly have learned to embrace my hair, and I've actually cut it off shorter than what I ever wanted it to be, because for so long I thought that having long hair meant that I was beautiful, or it made me feel beautiful. And long and behold, when I cut my hair, I felt more confident than I've ever felt ever in my life. So it's just, I learned to accept things in my life that I wasn't accepting before. And I was starting to gain confidence because I was realizing that I didn't need this to feel beautiful, because I am beautiful the way I am. This is the way that God made me. And if you aren't a religious person, this is the way that your mother and your father have made you. And there's something that you can do about it. I mean, yes, you can change it, but learning to accept who you are and embrace that, that's when you start to gain confidence. And when you have enough confidence, that's when you realize your value and you realize what you can bring to the table, what you have to offer. And then you realize that certain things aren't acceptable because you know your worth and you know everything that you deserve. And so once you have self-worth and confidence, you are ahead of the game. You will not accept anything below what you deserve. And I feel like once I realized that, I started moving a little differently. I was like, you know what? Like, there's certain things that I don't want in my life and that I'm not going to accept. And even for myself, there were certain things and I was like, Destiny, like, you need to get this done. You need to do this. And you just start to move differently and have like a different energy about you, and you glow, and it's just so amazing. So that's all I gotta say about that one. The next lesson that I learned is that some people are only in your life for a season. This kept occurring so many times throughout the year because there are people that will just come into your life and they will sometimes linger around, sometimes they'll stay for a minute, but they always end up leaving. And you always have the one question that I kept asking myself: why? Why did you come into my life? Why now? What was the purpose? Like, why? Like, why? Why did you come and ruin everything when I was doing just fine? The answer is, you're not always going to get the answer. And sometimes when you do get the answer, it's not right away. And that is something that I had to learn, because I was constantly having people that would come into my life and I didn't realize that they were teaching me a lesson. They were teaching me something that I needed to know at that time. And I wouldn't figure it out until later on, when either that same situation would come up again, or I would just be tested in a different way, and I didn't realize that there was something I had learned previously. But that has always been something that I've questioned. Even like to this day, sometimes when I'm talking to someone or I'm dating someone and we like are just vibing and I start to form an attachment, and then this person just ups and leaves, it's just like, what happened? I thought that we were doing good and you just left out of nowhere. Sometimes that is God's way, or just the universe way of saying that they're teaching you a lesson. They came in your life to give you a valuable lesson that you needed at the time, and then they did their job and left. And as much as we want to hold on to some of these people, it becomes toxic when we do, because it's only hurting ourselves and we're not getting the lessons that we need to keep feeding us to keep going in life. So that's what I've learned from those things. The next lesson that I have learned is to take time for yourself. This is so important. I cannot stress this enough on how much you should take time for yourself, because this kind of has to go along with like realizing your self-worth. When you take time for yourself and learn to love being by yourself, then you can be around anybody. I think it's very important for us to take time for ourselves, because that is when we figure out who we are the most. When we are alone in our room and nobody else is watching, that's when you really figure out who you are. This is how I think when no one else is looking. This is what I do when no one else is looking. And you really just take time for yourself to just really like dig deep, because this also has to go with self-worth and confidence. Because if you can't be confident with yourself and confident around yourself, then you won't be confident around other people, because you'll definitely be having a negative mindset whenever you're around them. So I just think that taking time for yourself and really doing things that you love to do. So like if you like to go shopping, then take yourself shopping, girl, because we all love to shop and it's so therapeutic. I finished my hair, yay! The next lesson I learned would probably be that just because you treat people a certain way doesn't mean they're always going to treat you the same way back. This lesson is one of the two lessons that I had the hardest time with, just because I had to realize over the years, and sometimes even to this day, that not everybody is like me. I care a lot and I try to give as much love and affection and care as possible, because I feel like if you meet it at the time, then like I'm here for it. And so not everybody is like that. There are some people that aren't as emotional as me and not as caring as me. And so it's just like I had to learn that not everybody is the same, and I can't expect the same thing from other people as I would give to them, because we are not the same person. But even going along with that, when it comes to like friendships and relationships, sometimes I would put in more effort into a relationship or to a friendship because they weren't giving enough effort. And when I say enough, I'm saying like they're barely doing anything at all. Like you constantly have to hit them up. You constantly have to make plans with them. They're not doing anything that's feeding you. So when it came to friendships, there was definitely times where I was trying to make a friendship work that just wasn't meant to work. Like, they're not going to do anything good for you. They're just going to put you in this negative mindset, and being around negative people is only going to make you a negative person. So you need to just take that energy away. And so I had to learn that when it comes to friendships. But when it came to relationships, me, I would sometimes slip up just depending on the relationship, because I would be so blind by wanting to be in this relationship and wanting to be happy and make it work. And I had to realize that, baby girl, I can make myself happy. I don't need it to be in a relationship to be happy. And I'd rather be happy by myself than be in a relationship where I'm constantly trying to drag somebody to do something. Like, that is so tiring. But once you realize that there is nobody else like you, you have so much to bring to the table, then having this person in your life shouldn't even be worth it in the first place. Because if they can't see what you bring to the table, if they can't see all that you have to offer, then you have to realize that you are not the issue. It is them, because you have so much to bring, and you are trying to do backflips and kicks and tricks and bending over backwards for this person just to prove your worth, just to prove your value to them. And you need to realize that that is not what you need to do with your life. You don't need to prove anything to anybody, because for one, people don't owe you anything. And two, the person that wants to be with you will be with you. They will make an effort. They will do the things that you need and that you deserve. And if that person isn't doing it for you, then you need to go and find somebody that is. Or you just need to learn to be with yourself. But definitely, if you find somebody that's willing to do all that for you, that is someone that you want to keep around, because they see your worth, they see your value, and wants to continue to keep growing the relationship. Then that is something that is so magical and something that we all should aspire to have. Because just being in a relationship is one thing, but being in a relationship where you learning to be the best person that you know how to be individually and together, that is probably one of the best relationships to ever be in. But in order to be in that type of relationship, you need to learn what to expect and what not to accept. And sometimes you have to go through a few trial and errors to get to where you need to be. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then when you find that one dress and you're just like, this is the dress, this is the person, then everything else doesn't matter after that point, because you know that you found a good person. So that is what I've learned about that. The last lesson that I learned, and it's probably the second biggest lesson that I've learned, is that it is okay to not be okay. When I tell you guys, this is probably so important for especially people that want to hide behind a smile, hide behind laughter, and try to make everything seem like it's all positive all the time. I have a hard time with this, because I hate people seeing me down. I hate people seeing me upset, because I see it as a form of weakness. And it's just very hard for me, which another reason why it's so hard for me to be vulnerable, because I hate people seeing me that way. Sometimes I feel like my feelings aren't as important as others, and so I try not to deal with my problems and rather deal with other people's problems. And I know that there's so many other people that are like this, which is why I'm coming on here to talk about this, because it's just so important for us to realize that our feelings matter too, and that it is okay for us to feel something. It is okay for us to break down and cry and to just feel whatever we are feeling at that certain moment, because we do more damage to ourselves when we keep it all in and just bottle it all up. There have been so many years where I have just gone and just bottled all my feelings up, because I just didn't feel like they mattered or that they were important at the time, because there's just so many other things going on in the world that are way more important. People are dying, people are going through divorces, or like whatever the case may be. And I was just like, my little feelings it doesn't matter. And that was doing more damage than good. I had suffered depression, and there was just certain things that I was going through at a young age that I don't feel like certain people should have been going through. And I just wanted to come on here and just be vocal about that, because I know that there's some people that are so scared to talk about their feelings. And I always press the issue of, when you feel like you have no one else to talk to, that you should come and talk to me, because I understand. I know what you are going through. Trust me, I do. Also, I had to realize that as much as I wanted to be there for other people, I had to be there for myself. I had to learn to want to talk to myself, learn to write, learn to get my feelings out there. And yeah, like I really wanted to come on here and talk about this, mostly just because I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless, and I continue to want to have you come and talk to me about your feelings, because I understand what it feels like to feel like your opinion doesn't matter. So these are some of the things that I learned in 2018, and I'm probably going to keep learning some of these lessons that I learned in 2019 as well, because you know, sometimes you have to learn things a few times for them to stick in your head. I'm definitely learning that as well, because sometimes I just don't listen to myself, and I just don't. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I'm excited for in 2019. I'm excited to learn new lessons, to grow more. I really see growth in myself, and I feel like when you see yourself growing and you see yourself moving different, you have a glow about you. You feel so much better. You feel so confident in yourself, and you just want to do more. And that is where I'm at in my life right now, and it is so good to see that, because I just see myself doing more, and I was not doing that a few months ago. So I'm just so happy that I start to see my creative juices moving. I'm starting to see myself getting out there and being more active, and I'm just so proud of myself. And I hope that all of you guys had a good 2018 too. And if you didn't, 2019 is going to be your year. I'm speaking it into existence for you. It is happening. I'm here to help you make it happen. We are going to get through this together, guys, because yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, baby.